Am I the only person that didn't like Mickey 17?
Well, all right.
This is going to be a fun review. Listen, let me give you some context. So, when Mickey 17, the concept got revealed, I actually wasn't that excited. Even when the first trailer came out, I wasn't fully sold. Then, all the other trailers after got me very excited, and a few of my friends said they were also very excited for this movie, and I put this movie on my top 10 list for my most anticipated movies of this year. What did I think? I really didn't like this movie. Listen, the problem with this movie, the main problem, is that there are too many plot lines and it's not focused. This movie drags. It's not 3 hours, it's shorter than Avengers Endgame, yet it feels like a whole day. It's so long, and maybe that's just because I was bored, but they didn't do anything interesting with this sci-fi genre that they were in. Robert Pattinson was amazing. I thought that the accent that they were showing in the trailers was going to be a bit stupid and that I was going to laugh at it throughout the whole movie. But because Pattinson commits to the accent and the acting, you're actually like, no, this is a character choice that works really well for this character, because his silly voice shows you his like innocence, and Robert Pattinson plays Mickey so innocently and so well. And when Mickey 18 comes into the picture, they are two very distinctively different characters, and Pattinson is masterful at playing each Mickey and giving both of them their own depth and differentiation. So Robert Pattinson was the best thing about this movie. If the movie focused more on the dual personalities of the two Mickeys, then you could have been looking at a pretty good movie. It's because they rely on the worms. At the start of the movie, Mickey 17 is like, oh, I'm gonna die because of these worms. And I thought, oh, that's just gonna be a monster that eats Mickey 17. No, these worms are like the main hook of the movie. Literally, one of them gets hooked by Mark Ruffalo's character. And I just wasn't that interested in that piece of plot. And because the third act hinges on you being invested in these worm creatures, if you're not interested in them, then that final third act is going to be so boring. And it was, for me, it was. But there were really interesting themes that I just wish they focused on, because Mark Ruffalo's character wants to build the perfect race. He is basically a Hitler persona in this movie. And if they focused in on his values, and if they focused in on him being a real villain, like he says he wants to make an all-white community, and I think there's something poetic about Mickey falling in love with a black woman, and maybe Mark Ruffalo's character could keep him as an expendable because of him fundamentally disagreeing with Mickey falling in love with a black person. There are themes here that are awesome, and they are wasted. Completely and utterly wasted. I did enjoy all the ways that Mickey died. I thought it was creative with the printing. I loved, like, that starting bit where Mickey's narrating and he's like, I should have read the paperwork. And they print him, and the ways he dies. That's epic. But that's like a montage, and that's not the main focus of the movie. Do you get what I'm saying? Also, this movie is very wacky, and I feel like Deadpool is a character that can be wacky, and who can get away with the swearing and the gore, and it comes off as, oh, well, that's Deadpool, and that's why Deadpool and Wolverine work so well. When this movie this movie uses more F-bombs than Deadpool and Wolverine, and I feel like it's just doing that to be edgy and be a 15. Like, there was no reason for the characters to keep saying the F-word all the time, and Mickey's love interest, Narsha, kept saying the F-bomb, and I was like, you're just using the F-word for the sake of using it, and I'm really losing respect for you. Also, the sex. Listen, I don't have a problem with, like, sex in movies. I get it can be, like, it showed Mickey's close relationship with Narsha, but when Mickey 18 comes into the picture and she's about to, like, bang both Mickeys, she was just doing that because she was on drugs. That was just a weird scene for the sake of having a weird scene. Also, that Jessica wanting Mickey 17 and then saying to Narsha, you can keep Mickey 18. That was a plotline that went nowhere. And Jessica and Mickey, or like, you can tell that Mickey has, like, a bit of feelings for Jennifer, but it's never referenced ever again. Also, the sets I get it's like a dystopian future, but the sets are very plain. There's not a lot of colour, which I don't mind. I got that from the vibe of the trailers anyway. But when Mickey's in space, like have some cut the way he dies, have some like ultra ray lights, have some reds in there, have some blues. It was just very bland and bleak, which kind of set the tone for the movie, I get. But like the billionaire, Mark Ruffalo's character, should have been decked out in golden blazers and bright red ties. That's just what I thought. And Mark Ruffalo is the second best person here. He is so funny in this movie. And there are some moments where I'm kind of laughing, going, what is going on? What am I watching? And listen, I love the ending, where Mickey says, I need to learn to be happy. But then the film ends, and I'm going, why couldn't we have explored Mickey's internal grief and him not letting himself enjoy life? Why have we made this movie focus on other things? That's the biggest problem with this movie. Its runtime and its failure to put forward ideas that it starts. It can't finish. It doesn't finish. It doesn't feel like a complete movie. And that's what really dragged it down for me. Mickey says he was involved in a car crash with his mum, and his mum died because he pushed the button. He says that, but we get no proper flashbacks. We don't know why he feels this grief. They don't expand upon it, so we can't connect to it. And so then when Mickey 18 comes into the picture, he's like, oh, your trauma, you're so soft, Mickey. We're like, okay, we've been told that him and his mum were in an accident, but why does he feel this grief? And so when Mickey 18 sacrifices himself, I felt nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't mind. And I really wanted to like this movie. I thought it was going to be the next big sci-fi thing, but unfortunately, the opening weekend isn't looking so good. And I don't think this is going to make a lot of money. I think it's one of the worst movies I've seen. I'm not even joking. I don't know what people see in this. Please tell me. But the actors were trying to make it good. Like the wife of Mark Ruffalo, she was great. Nasha was great. Robert Pattinson was great. Mark Ruffalo was great. This film just was not great. I'm going to give this film 4 out of 10. Don't waste your time seeing it. Wait for it to come into streaming. I was going to read the book, but after watching the film, I don't think the book would be much better. So I'm going to lock this franchise away now and pretend I never watched the movie. Which is really sad because I was really looking forward to this one. Yeah, I haven't had a good cinema experience in 2025 yet. Superman, please be good.